I'm really pleased to be joined on Not the Andrew Marr Show by Dalloul, al-Neder and Natasha Khan, who were both participants of a protest at Cheadle on Thursday night, which has gone viral. How are you doing, Dalloul?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking.
And Natasha, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, my wrist is still swollen and I haven't slept much, but yeah, I'm okay.
We're going to play a clip that's been going around everywhere, and everyone's seen it probably already, but I'll just remind those who've seen it, and also for those who haven't seen it, this is a chance for you to see this quite incredible protest on Thursday night. So I'll just play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Thank you. Thanks, Johnny. And look, Thameside's going to save the world. That's why us three are up here. But
the change in this country has come when you take a place and asking and demanding for ceasefire. I lost my family in Gaza. Just a second, I want to show you my mom. I lost my family in Gaza. If the ceasefire takes place,
I just say what kind of feminist are you?
I lose my purpose. I need my mom. That's the only thing I need. Let me finish. I need my mom. Why are you not demanding for the ceasefire?
15,000 women and children dead, Angela Rayner, and you tout yourself as a modern day feminist? I don't think so.
Thank you.
Women having to use scraps, tents for sanitary towels. Where's your voice, Angela? Call yourself a feminist? I really don't think so.
Jonathan Reynolds, you talk about
genocide! Fundraising genocide! You should be ashamed of yourself, Angela Rayner.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your vice chair of
Thank
Labour
you.
Friends of Israel. Your friendly Israeli president said he was waging,
You've
in his
made
country
your point.
was waging
Thank
a
you.
war against barbaric jihadists who
Thank
wanted to
you.
take
You've
over
made your
Europe.
point.
Jonathan
Two women
Reynolds.
dead every day, Angela. 2 women dead every day. 25,000 people dead, Angela, and rising.
Shame!
Shame!
Shame on all of you!
Shame on all of you! Absolute shame! You say you shame! You support it! Genocide! You're funding genocide! 25! You abstained from the vote against the peace! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you all! And get your hands off her as well! Disgusting! Hands off me! You're not arrest me! Ow! Your hands off me! You're off me! You're hurting me! You're hurting me! No, don't off me! You don't hurt me! Get off me! You're wasting my waist! You're breaking my ribs and insane! You're breaking my ribs!
Thank you.
You've got children! It's nothing! You've got kids! What's happening to kids in Gaza? Disgrace! Hell!
Very dramatic scenes at the whole thing. Dalloul, can you tell us the circumstances that of your family and what you wanted to say?
Actually, let me start. The truth always it is hurtful and painful for them. They doesn't want to listen or to let the rest of the public in the community to know the truth about what they have done and what their agenda, what they are working. Actually, Angela Rayner, one of the Labour Party, and actually obviously the Labour Party, it is the opposition party in the community, and one of those leaders, many leaders actually, they vote against the ceasefire, and when they didn't vote for the ceasefire, that means we're not going to build up pressure in the government to take serious step and stop this genocide. As I mentioned earlier, if the ceasefire take place, for example, months ago, that is we could save thousands of families like my families. I'm not protesting only for my family. My family part of 50,000, it has been murdered, slaughtered in Gaza. That is why when I'm going asking for ceasefire and I want to interpreting them, exposing them, just let them know you was the reason, you were the reason for this genocide to keep going. You didn't vote for the ceasefire. Just to let the rest of the community, the people they bet on them. That means they're pretending they are a good characters. They want to build the community. Build of the community come when you take care of the others, when you be human at least. the complicity of the British government, it is clearly with Israel. It doesn't make any attention for the Palestinian for decades. We've been under the occupation for decades, more than 75 years, killing, bombing us. Israel has been bombing us for decades. We haven't seen any serious action to stop this genocide. I lost my family. I still have lives. We still have around 2 million in Gaza. We want to save this community. That's the message for them. Just to vote for ceasefire, not to send the weapons and the aircrafts and the food, the electricity, everything for Israel. On the other hand, there is thousands of people died. Israel used the worst weapons in the world, the hunger. People in Gaza, they couldn't find anything, especially in the north, whereas the rest of my family still there suffering.
Can you tell us a bit about your family, and how many people have you got still in Gaza?
I still have about 15 members of my family, and about a close family, we could say about 50, and all of them in the north in Jabalia, whereas there is no water, no food, no electricity. And yesterday, when we see the ICG commenting this point, we haven't seen up to now any serious action to let at least the humanitarian aid, the food trucks, this stuff to get into the people starved to death in the north. And the government still doesn't make any change. They want to keep this war going, this genocide. What's the benefit from this?
So, do you have any contact with them? I mean, there seems to be bad signals from
Gaza. Really, if I could manage to speak with them, might be every 3-4 days. If I manage to speak with them for a couple of minutes. That is how it is look like. There is blockade for everything. They doesn't want even the truth or even, by the way, they doesn't let the journalists to pass to Gaza to move to start filming, documenting the massacres, the slaughtered of the people in Gaza. It might be really if I could manage to speak with them every 3-4 days. It is really hard.
You can't. I mean, that's horrific. If you don't know what's happening to anyone for days, and then your family have already.
Yeah, that's the point. It is really horrible, unbelievable things. We haven't experienced anything in all our life like this genocide. We've been for a decade, but this time the complicity of the Western country, it is more clearly standing with Israel, with giving them the green light to kill the Palestinian, do whatever. Even I don't know what's the point with Keir Starmer when he said Israel have the right to cut the waters, the food. What kind of right you talk about it? I'm just wondering what kind of right to. There is kids, there is women, there is elderly, there is thousands of families. That doesn't make sense. This is never will be not justify the self-defense. Nothing justified to cut the water, the food, electricity on the people in Gaza.
And you don't feel that they're listening to people from Gaza or like you who are over here.
Well, you have seen it in the video clearly. The video will answer you. Actually, you have seen it in the video.
Yeah. Well, I'm really sorry about what's happening to everyone in Gaza, especially to your family. And Natasha, it's good to see that protest happening. I mean, can you tell us how many people were there? Because it wasn't just inside the venue; it was outside, wasn't it? There were protests outside. I don't think that's been spoken about really.
It's so heartbreaking to hear that. Honestly, like I said earlier, it was. Just to say, it was so upsetting to see. Not only, obviously, I was manhandled, but he was talking about his family, and the way that she seemed inconvenienced by his grief, like it was nothing, and the way she moves her hand as if she's swatting a fly. It was so, he was so sad. He wasn't aggressive. He was just letting them know how much he's lost, and this is the general kind of reaction you get to any mention of Palestine, as if it's almost controversial to be upset by the mounting death toll of over 25,000, half of which are children that are dying at an unprecedented rate that we've never seen before. I'd say there were probably about 50 or maybe 50 outside or more. I couldn't see because you could hear them, but they closed the curtains and you just had lots of tutting and rolling eyes, around every table. It was just a small event. I'd say there were about, if memory serves me correctly, maybe about 9 tables. Yeah, and I didn't know Dalloul. I'd gone there to obviously challenge the MPs, and didn't get an opportunity. But I think the most profound points were made by Dalloul. Am I saying your name right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's it, like you say, there was this kind of rolling eyes and tutting, like, oh, this is so inconvenient for us.
A woman next to me, a councillor, a Labour councillor, she was like, oh God, they may be disturbing people sleeping. And I'm thinking, at least these people have the luxury to sleep. But at that point, she didn't realize I was pro-Palestine. And she said, God, I hope they all get clamped, you know, and they need to go. It was this attitude, this awful attitude, the way they speak. It was shocking. But yeah, and then they just at one point, a Labour leader, he said, "Oh, ignore the banging. It's like percussion. It's like a bit of music." That's the way they reacted to people that were genuinely distressed and upset by over 100 days of massacre. It was really upsetting, and to see Dalloul and looking back at it is very sad.
Dalloul, what's your how do you feel after seeing it come out on social media? Do you feel that you've made an impact? I mean, it's definitely been shown a lot, and it does show up, as Natasha was saying, it shows up these kind of unfeeling, kind of self-centered politicians and people who follow them. I mean, it's quite revealing, isn't it? Do you think it's been a positive thing?
To be honest, it is still, there is impact and positive, but for myself, as I'm concerned about the people in Gaza, about this genocide, the real impact and the positive point when I hear there's genuinely ceasefire and take a place, that's the war will be stopped. Not well, the war is stopped now. I mean, the ceasefire will take place now. That's but there is impact and there is a positive thing. Yeah, it has been lots of people watching this video and see the truth about the Labour Party, and actually I do believe in this video that they will lose lots of members, as well as I receive lots of messages, lots of people solidarity with me, and some of them even they cancel their membership with the Labour Party. But we need the something physically we could feel it. I mean, the war to be stopped. There's still impact, and we will keep going. We will keep protesting, do whatever we can until this genocide is stopped. We demanding nothing impossible. We demanding for the ceasefire.
And the ICJ verdict yesterday, did that give you some hope?
Nothing. When I read that, like, you know, let's make it clear, like, feed them before you kill them, but slowly, like, that's what's the explanation for myself. There's a few people they have a hope, but for myself, I the only hope I'm being waiting for the ICJ to say ceasefire. Israel must stop this right now. This is the only thing will you know. Much appreciate for South Africa for the hard work, but for the ICJ, nothing. I don't really appreciate anything from this outcome. The outcome, as long doesn't ask for immediately ceasefire, it doesn't make any difference, or the Palestinian in Gaza doesn't welcoming this decision.
I concur. I think it's like redundant. It just seemed like lip service, and like you said, almost like fattening for slaughter. I mean, it's just as redundant as the humanitarian pause. I mean, what's humanitarian about a pause? Just give them a little bit more energy to withstand the torture some more until their inevitable demise. I mean, we need a ceasefire, not an intermission. But yeah, it's absolutely appalling. And Labour are no better than the Tories, and it's quite ironic that at one point Angela Rayner called the Tories scum, but I can't see any difference between Keir and them, and Angela. But yeah, and I think it is pertinent to mention that, as you can see from the video, to a Caucasian female and a Caucasian male were able to speak without interruption, and were not manhandled at any point. And the only people that were aggressively manhandled were Dalloul and myself. And you didn't put there's a video that I've also got where he continues to push me all the way out into the building, even though I didn't resist. I was still going, and he's pushing me with such force. At one point I fell, and he would not stop until I got out of the building.
Same, that's what they have done with me.
They put a handcuff on me in there, and then they twisted my hand.
He hit me and roughly hit me and
shouted at him.
Yeah.
He was so frightening. He was so intimidating, this man.
Yeah.
And he's shouting at you and pushing you with such force. As soon as I left the event room, he took the handcuff off me, because he wasn't supposed to put it on. That's testament to the fact that he wasn't supposed to put it on me in the first place. And my wrist is still swollen. I can't feel my fingers. And I was frightened. I broke out into tears. And that's nothing compared to the lack of compassion. But the lack of compassion Dalloul was faced. Imagine you like going and telling people your family have died, have been killed, and just being pushed out like you're saying something, out of order, out of line. We fund that. We fund this murder, this mass murder. and they abstain from vote. Silence is complicity. All we need is a ceasefire. That's all he's asking for. Stop killing his family and all the other people in Gaza, in Palestine.